This was almost a Planet Fitness chest day, but yeah, Sunday. Damn. I was really hoping it was like Tuesday or something. Planet Fitness dropped the freaking ball, honestly. It used to be 24-hour, 24/7. Now it's like, I'm even spoiled with the one I've got. They only close at 9 on the weekends and on Friday. I've seen a couple where they actually shut down at like 6 or even 5. Not fucking cool. So, what other anytime gym is there? I think we know the one. So that'll be good. That will be good. Last chest day was a little bit too heavy incline Smith as the starter movement. So for this one, I want to change it up a touch. I think I've got an itch for some cable press. So still, I mean, a reasonably heavy press, right? But slightly different, because with this, instead of really trying to load up a ton of freaking weight, it's going to be a bit more controlled squeezing. So it's like, instead of starting a tricep day with crazy heavy skull crushers or like close grip bench, really just trying to maximize how much force and tension I'm physically feeling. That's kind of what I'm doing with a really heavy press for chest. It's more like starting with a lighter rope extension, much more squeeze emphasized, and the difficulty from the reps doesn't come from simply doing them like as hard as you can. It comes from really having a deep kind of methodical flex on the top, and then just repeating that as many times as possible. So that's something which I think I don't emphasize enough. Is, of course, it's going to be a good set to pick a heavy weight and go to failure around 8-ish reps minimum. Even a heavy set of like 14 is still pretty solid, and if you go above or beyond those numbers, it's not like you're suddenly making no gains. That's just kind of the ballpark estimate I like to stick between for some heavy sets. And by that I mean like some straight sets of just move the weight around. So as much as I like 3 plates on the incline barbell for 12 or something with maybe 2 assisted reps, I also like a lighter set of cable press converging too, half the stack ish for like 20, and then hitting failure that way. So that's sort of the key component which balances out all sets in terms of style, movement, everything else. Is no matter if you're doing a heavy set of 12 or a lighter squeezing set of 20, or maybe like a rest pause set of like 5-5-5 or 7-7-7 or whatever, overarchingly, I want all of those sets to have one thing in common. I go as hard as I can, and I at least approach failure. And that's a little bit of a convoluted term now, which it totally shouldn't be. It should just be basic, like muscular failure is you can't do another rep. But it's there's a lot of talk of, you should leave 3 reps in reserve, or I never trained to failure. Even like all sorts of characters are weighing in on it. And frankly, I'm going to be under the position of go as hard as you can most of the time. If you know that there's benefit for you to do some pumpish style sets, like at the end of this chest day, once I've finished some heavy pressing, or maybe some lighter squeezing pressing or whatever, I've done most of the work of the workout, and I want to finish the set off with some pump work and really try to just fill my chest up with as much blood as possible for the pose down, as well as just for the benefits of all the fucking extra blood flow of being pumped on its own. Then I might do a set of cable press where it's a lightish weight, and I'm really just getting a big stretch and a hard squeeze at the bottom for 15 or so, and it's not to failure. It's sort of just a set to like satisfaction. Now, in instances like that, of course, I don't need to go to failure. But for most of your working sets, most of the work of the workout, it's leaving anything in the tank. I see that as a negative. And barring like, my shoulders I gotta ease into it, or my knee is like, assuming all is well health-wise, your shoulders feel good, all your joints are all right, and you're about to do a set of hammer strength press. You get to 5 reps, okay, you're feeling it. You get to 8 reps, all right, I gotta hold it at the top and take a breath for a second before I do these next 2. You do 2 with a breath in between, and you're like, okay, I can maybe do 2 more, maybe. let's rack it. I consider that at least a small, or at least to a small degree, some level of failure, and not muscular failure, you know? So that's where I'm much more interested in the guys who really push themselves with the training, because that's not something which you can just listen to like some workout tutorial video and they're going to explain. Like, I think it's so strange that all of the working out tips that get talked about, it's always purely like form, execution, how should your sets look. It's I never hear about like how should your sets feel and like how excited should you be about it, and like you gotta really just like go nuts when you're actually doing this try not to swear as much if you, but I never hear that. I almost never hear like brunt hype and excitement talked about, at least, you know, except for like in a We Go Gym screaming kind of edit. But that's I don't know. I don't think that really counts. That's just generalized hype. But if you were to take two guys doing the exact same workout written out for them, you know, I guess if you wanted to make it really balanced, you'd say 80% of your max, or like somehow you could value it where it's like they were doing the same weight for every movement, and it was like, you know, failure, 2 reps in reserve, whatever. I don't know. The guy who's really excited about what he's doing, he's got his music playing, he's really getting into the zone. Before every set, he has a couple second like a little bit of a fucking, you know, excitement building before he goes after it, and then he makes it happen. That guy is gonna go harder, get a better workout, get a better pump than the guy who does these sets with a much more calm state of mind. And over time, that is going to reflect in the results that the two guys get. You know, so as much as you, as much value as there is in all the like, you know, make sure you do this perfect meso, like, dude, the guys who train the hardest get the furthest. And I guess you got to add one more caveat in there: the guys who train the hardest for the longest go the furthest. You know, because without that training the hardest part, I mean, I'm sure we've seen it. There's guys in the gym where they've been working out, doing the same workout routine, the same lack of cardio routine, the same, you know, maybe getting a decent amount of protein, but not really leveraging their diet very much. So they're training for a long ass time, but are they really going as hard as they can? You know, so it's that's where you can do the exact same workout and in a year's time be the exact same dude, which I hate to see it, because if you already come to the gym, you took your pre-workout, you're taking your creatine, you got all your multivitamins, you're watching workout videos, you're literally working out 6 days a week or however many days a week, and you're not making gains, you're doing 90% of everything right, but you just got to push it past that extra 10 to really start to you know, break through the barrier, right? Like if somebody I guess what's a good estimate? You know, somebody can have a 9-foot vertical, they're still not going to touch a rim. You know, they could have a 9.5-foot vertical. They're still, right? You got to hit that fucking threshold. So I'm going to get some music playing, get extra freaking excited and amped up, and let's go make this chest day happen. As predicted, incline cable press, perfect start. And you got to be tricky with this one, because I'm not trying to go crazy heavy, because if I do, then I lose the complete point of what I'm trying to do here, which is really squeeze like a mofo. And if I overload it to like the full stack, I'm going to use so much front delts it'll be fucking stupid. So let's just go nuts here. There we go. Yeah. 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 Oh, goodness. One or two more just like that, I think. There. Yeah. 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 Okay. Let's turn this into a rest pause, actually. So, intervals of 5. Yeah. 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 One more with a drop set. Yeah. 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 Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. That was some good slow and controlled pressing. I think let's do a back and forth style. Pressing set, then a fly set, then a pressing set, then a couple fly sets, and that'll probably be it. So let's I think some straight up pec deck is gonna serve me nicely next. So that was a very slow and controlled set of cable press. So let's counter it with kind of a quicker, basic set of flies. I'm not going to sit here and do a full 1 second hold and a 2 second eccentric. With this weight, based on the feeler rep I just did, by the time I pumped out 10 of these, I'm going to be doing partials. And my main concern is the same thing with the pressing. I'm trying to keep from hunching. Because the more I hunch, the more front delt I activate. So I'm trying to really suck my shoulders back here so these flies look more like this instead of like this. But there's going to be some cable flies next, which are even more isolated for me. Let me just pick a, yeah. Okay. One more just like that. Yeah. 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 Okay. All right. Let's do some machine press. Those were short and sweet. So, one little trick I like doing every time I use a machine press like this is I add these plastic like clamp style clips in between like the bumper of the arm and the upright, because it gives me an extra inch or so and a half of range of motion. And you know, as much as I'm walking myself into that joke, that is a big inch and a half. Like, if it weren't there, it would feel way too tight in the beginning and I'd probably hurt myself. So that little bit of a buffer gives me a much more natural starting position. Oh, fuck. And I can just get straight into it instead of having to like round over and wrench, because that's unnatural for me. Like, I'm never going that deep. So why would I want to load that position to get the weight set up, you know? Like, you don't curl 100-pound dumbbells into position for a bench. You put them on your knees and then you throw them up. So no need to make the set harder before it even begins. But this will be a little more squeezing focused. Okay. Holy crap. Let's make this next one a drop set and run it up. Okay. No. Okay. Oh. Let's finish with some cable flies. 3 out of 4 movements done. I might have lied. I'm not sure I explicitly said it, but I was planning on 2 sets of cable flies here. But if this superset is as good as I think it's going to be, then that will be it. So portion 1, in front of the body flies with some upper chest bias, which once you get to the point where you can just like pop these things in command, it's not so, or it's easier to specifically kind of target like different portions of your chest. Like I can get the bottom of it flexed right here, but the top is still soft. Or if I raise my arm up and I kind of feel like I'm scooping my elbow inward and up, then now the top part is fucking tense and the bottom is still a little bit relaxed. So that's just, you know, mind muscle connection. We all get the gist. Kind of just comes with time. But first portion will be more upper chest focus flies, and I'll still feel my whole chest, but mainly upper is what I'll be targeting. Weight light enough that I can do at least 10 reps quick with full range of motion before it breaks down to some partials. Then drop the weight by about half and finish with like a pump style set like I was talking about in the car. I'm not going to go to complete muscular failure where I can barely move, but I will go until I feel like I've completely filled my chest up with as much blood as possible. Then we go in the side room and see how they look. So let me get this Jace edit going again. I gotta watch season 2 of Arcane. Season 1 was pretty good. Yeah. 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 Okay. Come on, give me a minute. Yeah. 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 Okay. Oh. Let's pause down. We're done. Or I guess I should say we're pumped. Same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 set chest day. That's about freaking right. You know, any more volume, at least today specifically, I don't think I'd be any more pumped. And any less, probably wouldn't have been enough. I'm reaching, I'm, oh crap. Okay, let me finish my thought. But I'm almost kind of considering putting the pump checks on hiatus just so that I can have a little bit more abrupt, like lift to lift changes in leanness that are actually more noticeable. But maybe that's just not even freaking necessary. Honestly, I feel pretty nuts right here. But let's run through a couple. Trying to breathe a little bit less heavy when I do these. Oh my goodness. What else is there? Oh yeah, classic lat spread. Oh my gosh. So, waist feeling particularly thinned out, especially compared to, I mean, just a few months ago. Okay. Now I gotta catch my breath and do one more of those. That's actually pretty cool looking. Oh. Oh, goodness. Well, I would say that's a pump more than freaking achieved. Let me do one more side chest, sort of old school style, and then let's get out of here. Oh gosh. Well, that's what I'm aiming for there. A good chunk of fucking striations, and especially paired with a more trim waist. Honestly, even just sitting there like that is kind of nuts. Let me move you a little closer. There we go. Yeah. this, this is getting fucking crazy. Oh, well, I can tell I'm starting to break a sweat, even just by standing here doing this posing. But this lift is not over. I'm gonna add a touch of cardio after these lifts from now on, except for legs. Legs is gonna be hard enough on my lower body anyway. Adding some more cardio might just kind of stress my system. Is this? Yeah, it's backwards. So I'm thinking maybe just 15 minutes on the seated bike. Nothing wild. That's not even really gonna feel that hard, but it is gonna add up, right? Because for me to do these 15 minutes, it's not gonna feel like much. But if I do this for the next 4 weeks, it's 28 days times 15 minutes. What is that? Damn near 7 hours of cardio. Actually, exactly 7 hours of cardio. That's a lot. That is a freaking lot. And that's kind of the theme of working out at all. It's like just these small, incremental, unnoticeable acts adding up. And then over time, you get to say, holy crap, where'd all these fucking gains come from? But either way, I'll see you in the car, but I'm gonna go camp out and play some Clash Royale on the bike. Oh, okay. I am ready for bed. I'm gonna sleep. Maybe not exactly like a baby, because a baby is in a state of growth. I'm in a state of, well, dieting down. So slightly different, not even slightly, very different state of being. But you get the gist of what I'm getting after. Right? I am going to be sleeping hard. So post-workout meal. Oh, goodness. Probably going to make, well, I don't know. I'm not going to eat just one big one. I might have two sort of, maybe a bigger meal and kind of a snack-ish meal before I go to sleep. But that's going to look something along the lines of cumulatively about a pound of ground beef already cooked. So I made 5 pounds at once. I got to sit in a Tupperware, which when all you're really eating is the freaking ground beef, it kind of goes quick. But some ground beef, some kind of sauce, low sugar to no sugar. I did some low sugar barbecue sauce earlier. I might change it up and do a little bit of a burger style. That's where, I mean, you just take some ground beef in a bowl, ketchup, mustard, relish, low-fat mayonnaise. Low-fat mayonnaise. I was about to say low-fat mayonnaise. Low-fat mayonnaise mix the whole kind of thing together, and then if I'm really feeling crazy, I'll grab one of the low-carb buns and sort of make a like deconstructed, reconstructed like burger. Ends up being pretty good, but really I'm trying to stay away from the low-carb buns because, or the low-carb tortillas too. Like, if I really want to eat something like that, then I will. But it just kind of, I mean, they're very fibrous. So, and by that I mean they have a lot of fiber in them. So sometimes it can make your stomach feel a little funky if you eat too many of those, right? They're, as much as they are a pretty damn cool tool to get around the fact that you can't really eat dedicated carb sources when you're dieting, at least not a lot of them. You know, they're not a complete freaking cure-all. Because then if you eat a ton of them, you're gonna kind of like basically just get bloated, because they they go through all sorts of processes to make them low carb. So as much as there is benefit to some tips and tricks, you can't get around the fact that dieting either up or down is just going to be challenging. There are certainly things you can do to make it easier, right? Like if you work out consistently and you do your cardio consistently, then you actually can eat more food than somebody of similar stature to you who doesn't do those things, and you can still be getting leaner because you're burning more energy throughout the day, right? If you've got 2 campfires and one of them has a leaf blower blown on it, which is making that fire burn hotter, then it's going to take more fucking logs quicker than the other one that's burning a bit slower, you know? So that's going to help when you're bulking up. Make sure you eat foods that are easy to eat. Bowls of fresh rice. Like, I usually don't like prepping the rice, because if it sits in the fridge for too long, it can get a little dry, and then it's not as enjoyable to eat. So I usually, that's why I really like the microwavable ones, because it's like, it's done right there. Not a huge mess or anything, but they do come with, some added carbs and fats, or some added fats. So obviously there's carbs, but as easy as it is to, or as much ease as it gives you to evenly spread out your meals throughout the day, you can't get around the fact that you have to hit certain thresholds before you notice the results that you want to see. So dieting down, as much as I could, or as much cardio as I could do, and as much working out as I could do, and there's no getting around, I just don't have that much food to eat, So it comes down to, okay, this is the situation at hand. I want to get leaner. I'm doing this much cardio a day, I'm doing this much working out a day, I'm burning this much energy a day. I can only eat this much food. And if I go over, I'm not going to achieve my goals. What I set out to do, I have failed, and it was in my own control, and I just said, screw it. So, there really is some value, not even some value, a ton of value to being a little bit harder on yourself there. And by harder on yourself, I just mean like connected with the goals that you're trying to achieve. Because it's very easy to think, well, it's not going to be summertime for like 6 months, right? I don't need to diet down right now. It's Christmas is coming. Really, you want me to eat a small Christmas dinner? What do you? We just had Thanksgiving, man. You really expect me to diet through Thanksgiving? Come on. It is so easy to, and I mean for me too. I could think of a million random ass excuses to, as to say like why I should just go crazy, get some Ben and Jerry's and some McDonald's and just go say eat until I'm totally full and satisfied. Not that I'm really thinking that, but like for anybody, it's very easy to come up with reasonings and to like sort of just hem and haw in your mind and think, okay, well, I mean, yeah. And what it really comes down to, the thought that is really just bubbling up, causing those little arguments for yourself, is simply, oh, well, that's going to be hard. You should probably do it the easy way. That's going to be uncomfortable. You should probably do it the comfortable way. Holy shit. Too dear. Goodness. But, that's the thought process you're fighting. Because you've got your conscious brain, that's you making your thoughts right now very actively. Then you've got your subconscious. And the subconscious, you can't control it, right? That's why every time you're sitting on the cardio bike and a random thought pops into your mind, like you didn't conjure it, it just kind of happened. Like, oh dude, this is getting hard. You should probably stop. And that's when you have an option. That's where you can either, right, show some grit or show some quip. So you can think to yourself, well, what the fuck, man? I want to do this cardio. The fact that it's hard is why I'm doing it, so I can come out better at the end of it. Now, it's not like you do one 30-minute cardio session and now you're suddenly a new man. But if you do it hundreds upon hundreds of times in a row, a new man could actually be a pretty damn good description, right? I get tagged in all sorts of posts on the Instagram and the TikTok and everything. I'm always scrolling through them. Like same with the comments. I don't reply to all of them as I used to. It's getting to the point where there's too many. Awesome problem to have. But the tag posts I look through a little bit more diligently, and the reason for that is because I just saw one earlier. If I wasn't driving, I'd pull it up. It was a TikTok of a guy. First picture, tank top, maybe low 200 pounds, soft, like kind of a younger dude, high schoolish. The next slide, I didn't like see exactly how long it had been since that first picture was taken, but dude was lean. Dude looked like he worked out. Absolute insane transformation, easily within the range of a 40-pound drop in fat. And I doubt it took that guy that long, especially when you're a little bit younger. Like, you can just flip a switch. Your metabolism is already going nuts because you're still in kind of a state of growth until you're probably like, yeah, I mean, fuck, even getting up in like 22. Like you ever hear guys talk about how your metabolism kind of takes a hit just basically once you've reached full size as a guy. That's fucking true, man, right? So what I'm getting at is insane fucking fat loss transformation. That's what I love to see, because these guys get such an awesome grasp of every aspect of working out. The calories, the training, the cardio, the consistency, and in their mind, and not even in his mind specifically, he must have had a moment of realization where he said, all right, this is where I'm at right now. I know where I want to be. I know what it's going to take for me to get there. Let's make this shit happen. And then he did it. Boom. Right? That's fucking sweet. So that's where, if you know you want something, then if you can break it down to the point where you can visualize and know exactly the steps that it's going to take for you to get there, then those subconscious thoughts of like, oh man, why are you doing this? This is getting hard. You should just go home. Don't wake up for cardio. Sleep in a little bit. Suddenly, you're going to be freaking, oh crap, what's the word I'm thinking of? Totally killed my pace there. Oh yeah. Suddenly, you're going to be impervious to these damn like creeping little like back off laziness kind of thoughts, because you're holding freaking steadfast to whatever goals you want to achieve. So the idea, at least ideally, you'll reach a point where the idea of doing anything that's counterintuitive to those overarching goals that you have, it's it's like it's laughable. Like the idea of oh my goodness, like if I were to roll up to if I walked into the gym and I ran into somebody, you know, let's say I see him all the time, I don't know, one of my buddies, and he's like, dude, screw cardio this morning, let's go get breakfast, let's go do whatever. Not happening. Like, what are you fucking talking about? You know? And for some, that is a pretty strong antagonizing force against their goal achievement, because that situation is pretty fucking frequent, right? I mean, how often is it that you or, well, I mean, let's just say you, for example, you've been, you know, kind of half invited to some kind of plan, some sort of night, whatever, where you say, well, dude, I'm working out at 6, man, I'm not gonna be able to make it, or dude, I'm gonna be late, man, I gotta, or dude, I gotta get up early, man, I got cardio tomorrow, I can't go out tonight. You know, how often have you ever had to say that, and then the response from whoever it was that was asking you was, oh, dude, yeah, fuck, man, you're right, I know that you want to get after it, you're good, I know that's gonna be you know, time more well spent for you. Probably 0 freaking percent. More likely, the guy's gonna say, dude, you work out all the time. You're working out like 1,000,000 times a week, bro. You can skip one workout. What's one workout, man? And for anybody that's really locked in, the thought process of, well, what's one day off, bro? Come on, just like, it doesn't happen like that. Because that is coming purely from a perspective of who cares about what your goals are. And as unfortunate as it is, not really anybody, you know? Like, if you want to kill it this year, let's say you're aiming for a badass upward of like 60-pound kind of fat transformation or fat loss transformation, you don't have a cheerleading squad. Like, nobody is really coming for you to wake you up in the morning and say, come on, man, let's go get your cardio done. I was about to say going and done at the same time, but come on, man, let's go get your cardio done today. Let's do it. Come on, you said you wanted to do it. Like, that's not often. But if you do have a support system like that, make fucking use of it, right? If you got if you're rocking a father-son duo to the gym, or you know, you got a crew with you who's going all the time, that is awesome. But that's not very often, right? For the most part, it's always just you. So I don't mind that, because I think it's I don't know, I kind of like the fact that it's an individual thing for me, right? I can really get into it. It's all in my own control. I'm gonna go as far as I want with it, and I'm gonna be as dedicated as I know that I want to be with it. So it's almost like, well, it's like I almost I feel like I feel cool that I don't need a huge support structure, and it kind of just validates the fact that I want it to myself, because it's like I know I don't need anybody saying like, come on, Sam, get up and do your cardio today, come on, man, I know 30 minutes on the bike, come on, you know, because I know that I want the goals that lie beyond doing that. So if you have a solid grasp, a solid visualization of what you want to make happen, all there is to it is simply making it happen. And the problem with that is it just takes a while, right? Gains are not quick. Like, this is a multi-year endeavor for most to reach whatever, at least, you know, approaching whatever end goal that anybody might have working out. And I'm definitely taking it much further than necessary with how nuts I'm trying to go. But even if it's just like, okay, I want to get back into shape, I want to get back to being able to run a couple of miles, I want to get back to just whatever, that is absolutely awesome. So don't forget the feeling of what it feels like when you're imagining yourself where you want to be. Now, try not to do that all the time, because I feel like when you really think about and like get hyped based on like where you're gonna be in the future, it can almost sort of take away your drive. Getting a little bit abstract in my thoughts here, but it's like the more you think about like your end goal and you're getting excited about it, it's almost like you're replaying the idea and giving yourself the same dopamine release as if you've actually already made it happen. So it's like anybody can watch a TikTok edit with like Jocko and David Goggins and, you know, Tom Platz. It's like, yeah, working out, yes. And then once that energy's gone, it's like, what happened? Right? So that's where I really try to hold on to that and not run it over too many times in my mind, you know, because I want to be more excited about the day-by-day steps. Because if those get me excited, then it's never going to be a question of, am I going to wake up and get my cardio going? Am I going to push it hard in the gym? Not only do I want to because it's simply pushing me further into the progress that I want to reach, but it's just what I like, you know? So eventually you reach a point of comfortability and confidence with what you're doing where you can reach that state. Because in the beginning, workouts definitely feel like work if your excitement isn't really like maxed out. But I mean, I can't even remember the last time I've had a workout planned or scheduled or whatever where on my way to the gym I had to think, oh man, I really don't feel like working out right now. And it might be a bad thing, but even when I've gotten no sleep, like I've had a couple times where I worked out, I had to stay up all night for whatever reason, primarily procrastination, like back when I was in school and I'd have to like do an all-nighter or something. But sometimes like just a weird scheduling, like if I had to go somewhere in the morning or whatever, where it was like full night, no sleep. And then I recorded it. I don't remember when it was. This is way back. But I guess if you remember the video just by me referencing it, then you're a damn historic viewer. That's you've been around a while. But I had not slept the whole time, and then I went to go do legs that morning anyway, because I was like, well, I gotta do legs today, let's make this shit happen, you know. And it would have been better for me to just try to get a little bit of rest, even just 2 hours or 3 hours of sleep before I went to do whatever. Like that would have just been better. But you know, in my mind, I'm like, I'm working out, I don't care what state I'm in, let's go make this shit happen. And then even during the workout, I was fucking exhausted, but I still like felt really good afterward, because I was like, or I got to think to myself, okay, my preparation for this lift was terrible, but still killed it. You know, so it's almost there's sort of a disconnect or like a rift in working out, where it's like there is what is objectively optimal, but then there is like the die-hard, gung-ho, run your head through a brick wall approach, which I do think having the mentality to do that and then start to approach the optimal side of things is where, well, that's just a good overlay or a good overlap of legitimate, like smart training, as well as, you know, knowing that no matter what happens, you're still gonna fucking get after it. But that was that was a good chest day. I'm really excited to get back to the computer and actually like put this together and look over the clip, because you know it's cool. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like looking at the video, especially with the fancy lens and everything else, like it almost looks extra cool. There's a it's like it's cool to look at yourself in the mirror, and then it's when I go back and check it out, it's like I got a whole new perspective when I look at the edited version. But that's all I got. Awesome chest day. I can go to sleep knowing that I pushed myself towards what I'm aiming for, and then I got some cardio and a back day tomorrow. So I will see you then.